And it just makes me realize that so often we're in that hustle, we're in that busy, we're in that, okay, profit bearing, that means money, that means I need to make another Facebook ad. No, maybe, but maybe not. Because if it's not God honoring and it's not in the will of God and you're doing it because it's a business plan strategy and not an eternal strategy, it's going to it's going to dry rot right before your eyes.
Yep, yep. I think that we intentionally seek after um the acceptance of people instead of trying to please the Lord, right? Like lately I've been into this place, like even when I'm in the grocery store and this line is too long, like maybe I should sit in this line
Yeah.
so that I can learn some patience and not have a bad attitude because I'm in this line and they don't have enough lanes open in the store,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
or I can't go this way, I have to go the other way now because they shut off this road or there's traffic or something like that. Like I've been learning to understand when the Holy Spirit speaks to follow, right? And like not have an attitude about it. Like there's a reason why the Lord is sending me to this other place instead of this one. This place didn't have what I wanted, so I have to go to this other place. And then I run into somebody that needed a word from the Lord. You know what I mean? And so now in those positions, like when things don't work out, like I'm realizing like, oh, that's because the Lord is leading my steps, right? The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And I'm like, oh, now I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like we are so stuck to our own plans that
Yeah.
a lot of times we don't listen to his because we got everything planned out. I got everything in the time. I'm such a schedule person. I am
Yeah.
such a schedule
Me
person.
too.
Like my wife is not, but I am such a schedule. If the schedule gets off by this much, I'm panicking.
Yeah. Yeah. On the
Like it's
same.
it's 2 minutes. What's going on? 2 more minutes, and the Lord is like just trying to teach me. Like I'm in those delays.
Yeah.
I'm in them. Don't worry about it. And if you trusted me anyways, then why are you so not trusting? So you have to trust me. I'm in the delays.
My
It's okay.
brother was saying yesterday, he was telling his wife about what he did for work that specific day. And she was like, I was so perplexed. He said that he just went and he got coffee with 5 people and he just got 5 coffee orders and then he sat with 5 people and then his day was over. And I'm thinking, that sounds so unaccomplishing. That sounds so boring. That's terrible. How many did you drink coffee with all those people? Right? Like the natural tendencies of things.
Yeah.
And he sat there and he was like, that's actually a light day. Usually I'm talking to 10, 15 people. And it was this process of like, it doesn't look to the outside looking in that you're generating anything in that moment. But the
Yeah.
momentum, the compounding effect of creating relationships and developing intimacy with people, no different than the relationship that we've established as families over the last 7 years. Like, it wasn't oh, let's be on a podcast together. We just met each other. Nice to meet you. This is going to be an effective
Yeah.
strategy to build our brand, to start our business. It was like, we have these rich conversations and people need to hear them. People need to be on
Yeah.
the inside. They need to be a fly on the wall. And so this was a God-led experience, not a Tamara and Jay, start a mic, Anthony, let's go. You're
Yeah.
good on the mic. No, it was so much more than that.
Yeah. I was like, we need other people need to hear these conversations. You know what I
And
mean?
be
Like, how
having
many times
them.
have we walked away from them? Like, man, like, and it's not even what I love is like, it's normally never planned out. Like, we're going
Nope.
to talk about this. Like, it happens the day of, and we're like, what are we talking about today? Like, what are you going through? What are you seeing?
Good.
What are you hearing? You know, and then it becomes these conversations, which are like organic, just like like that's how friends have conversations,
Yeah.
anyways, right? And so it builds just something that we all need.
Yeah.
We all need these conversations. We all need to be able to sit down and talk and like verbalize what's going on in here. Like if you never talk to your COO,
Yeah.
then
Sure.
she
I
would
mean, a
never been
different
able
path.
to tell you. Like
Totally.
no. Like what did the Lord tell you? She doesn't even say this is my idea. She's saying no, what did the Lord tell you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that is probably one of my closest relationships is from that. Like me and Jesse, you know, me and
Yeah.
Jesse are tight,
Yeah. We're gonna have
right?
to have them on the show.
And he was going through some stuff, and I mean, like the dude lost every single thing that he had,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you think? Like, am I? And I'm like, what? I think I told him it doesn't matter what I think. I said, what did the Lord tell you? And he
Mm.
was like, this is what the Lord told me to do. I was like, so then I'm with you. I don't care if I got to pick you up every day.
Hmm.
If the Lord told you to do this, you do it. And I got you because the Lord told you. And, you know, he's now he's married,
I
you know,
know.
successful business. You know what I mean? I'm like,
So much to
oh,
celebrate. It's wild though, because in that current moment, right? It's like with Joshua. I'm in Joshua right now, and I was watching him from a leadership perspective, learning from him and the mistakes he made and the wins that he had. And it blew my mind. One of the first conversations that he had with the Lord after Moses had essentially gone to heaven, died,
mhm,
was taken from this world. Um, the Lord told him, today, I am going to make you a leader among nations. Today is the day that I'm going to anoint you, and everyone's going to know that I did this for you, that I put this mantle on your life. And I thought about how often we have these personal revelations that the Lord has given to us. And what do we do with them in that moment? Because the very next thing that he did was he went to all of the Israelites, and he did not say, hey, God told me that I'm going to be your leader. He did not say, hey, God said you guys need to listen to me because this is the direction that we're going and this is how this is going to happen. Because it would have become about Joshua at that point and his ability. He didn't say that. He said, hey, he said, God is going today for you, do this for you on your behalf. He just was an agent in that moment.
yeah,
He was just a conduit in that moment. And it gave God all of the glory. One example of the many things that happened, but one of the other pieces to that puzzle was that the Lord did not reveal to Joshua every single next step until that other step was done. He said,
come
take
on,
this
complete it.
step, get here. Now I'm going to tell you what to do. Take this step, come into this emotion. Let's work through that emotion. Let me remind you who I am. And then I'll give you the next step. This happened over and over and over again. And it happened with Moses too, but that's just where I'm at right now. And I
Yeah,
just immediately from that moment was like, whoa, Lord, first off, I need to slow down. I need to cement and build an altar at said step, right? I often
mm,
just move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. And God needs an altar built in that moment, a memorial built to say, look what you've done, to remind my team, look what he's done, to remind the community, look where we've come from. Like Jesse built that literal altar for him and his bride at that moment. But
yeah.
you and me and Madeline and Gary, we're like watching from afar because we didn't get to be there. Side note, right? But we got to see the pictures afterwards, and I thought, look at that altar. Look at that
Yeah,
altar in that canyon. Like that is
yeah.
a forever sealed experience based on the emotional turmoil and distress of two people who now are coming together in union and they're
Come on.
honoring God through it. Like
Yeah.
so good.
We overcome, right? It
Mm,
said by the word of our testimonies and the
yeah.
blood of the
Blood of the
lamb, right?
lamb. Yeah.
Like I think that that testimony, like we don't say it enough.